This video contains spoilers for all 3 seasons. Squid Game once gripped the world with a brutal but honest question. What would you do to survive? It was desperate, personal, and terrifyingly human. So why did Season 3 feel empty? It's more brutal. The spectacle has grown. But something was lost along the way. Characters making decisions that feel strange, even out of character. So what changed? What was missing this time? How did something that captivated global audiences turn into something that left them disappointed? Let's break it down. Squid Game started with a perfect trap. It asked not just what people will do to survive, but what desperate people will do for money. Here's what made it genius. Every player chose to be there, even after they voted to leave. They went home, they saw their real lives, and came back, knowing they could die. The organisers didn't force anyone, they just waited, preying on these desperate people to create the games. We saw their debts, their shame, their failures. Every game decision made sense because we knew their pain and what they had to lose. The genius was in the specificity. Each player's desperation felt unique and personal. Gi-hun's gambling addiction, Sang-woo's embezzlement, Ali's unpaid wages. These weren't just plot devices. They were the emotional foundation that made every brutal choice feel inevitable and made us invested in lives beyond the arena. So what was lost in the newest 2 seasons? Season 2 begins with something promising. Gi-hun, broken and hollow after everything he's been through, decides he can't just walk away. He wants to stop the games. That's bold. It flips the script. The winner becomes the resistance. But the show doesn't stay with this idea for long. He underestimates them and is quickly pulled back into the games. And the resistance angle dissolves into the background by Season 3. And that's the start of the problem. In Season 1, the stakes were crystal clear and deeply personal. We understood what every action cost the characters, what they stood to lose, what it said about who they were. But by Season 3, those motivations blur. Gi-hun becomes passive after the assault at the end of Season 2 fails, only moving to take revenge on Dae-ho. Once that's done, he's only motivated by protecting the baby. Even with this motivation, he fails to drive the narrative forward. He becomes a bystander to the group's decision-making, staying silent while others debate the baby's fate. When the others are discussing how they want to sacrifice the baby, he just scowls at them and maintains a good distance from them. His motivation about wanting to be a good father to his own daughter in Season 1 almost completely dissolves. For writers, make sure your main characters remain active in the story and make their motives clear. Try to extend the stakes beyond the immediate. How will what's happening now affect the rest of their lives? This adds more weight to the present. Take Sang-woo from Season 1. He's a masterclass in tragic consistency. He wasn't in debt because he had no options. He had all the options. He was already successful, but he wanted more, gambling with his clients' money to chase profit. So when he betrays Gi-hun in the 2nd game, and Ali in the 4th game, it feels earned and in character based on what we know. In Season 1, we understood why each character acted the way they did. There are moments like this in Season 2 and 3. For example, Hyunju initially votes to stay in the game, but after witnessing her friend Jung-jae die, she's overcome with guilt and votes to leave. But most of the characters don't have a goal beyond survive to pay off debts. There are big sets and they have big decisions to make, but the weight isn't there. For writers, you need to expand each character's backstory and give them decisions that challenge their ideals. That's how the audience truly learns who they are. But this problem is amplified in the finale. It all comes to a head in the final game, and here's where the emotional disconnect is impossible to ignore. We don't even know most of the people there. The audience didn't care if these random people live, they were just waiting to see what the main characters would do. Gi-hun hardly says anything, he's just waiting around while we listen to the random players. So when these players are making crazy decisions like voting for the baby to be thrown to its death, with even the baby's father voting for that option. Earlier in the games, he was portrayed as intelligent and capable, even protecting the baby and its mother. But now he's willing to sacrifice the baby for money. It's not just dark, it's incoherent. He even wants to kill Gi-hun early, so that in the final round he can kill his baby and take the money for himself. It's a jarring change that seems to come out of nowhere. In the finale of Season 1, there was less spectacle. It was just two men fighting each other in the rain, but it felt more meaningful than the Sky Squid Game. They knew each other and had become adversaries during the game. Gi-hun knows how much Sang-woo has to lose and knows he's willing to kill him because of his actions in the games. It wasn't flashy, it was raw. Season 3 lacked this. It felt like it was more about shock value. For writers, make sure your final confrontation builds on what came before so that it feels realistic. You don't need spectacle. But here's the real tragedy of Squid Game's collapse. It went from raw human stories about desperate characters trying to survive and fix their lives to something hollow. Now it's all surface level. Blood, betrayal, spectacle. But without character, without connection, none of it matters. Season 1 had rich backstories and consistent motivations. Without this foundation, the other seasons fell flat. What made the show powerful wasn't the deaths or the twists, but the simple notion that survival isn't just about staying alive. It's about who you become to do it. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button down below and subscribe for more.